Happy International Women's Day. It is 12:30 in the afternoon here, and I am Liz Jones, Managing Director at People2People UK and your host of P2P UK Live. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn and X, so don't forget to follow us. On today's show, we're going to take a look at the stat of the week. We'll take a look at some hot jobs in the UK, New Zealand and Australia. What is the importance of celebrating International Women's Day? This week, we're going to take a look back at a conversation between New South Wales Managing Director Catherine Kennedy and Finance Manager Kirsten Garrett to discuss the importance of celebrating International Women's Day and what investing in women and accelerating that progress means. And then we'll take a look at the social media poll results. But first, let's take a look at the stat of the week. Okay, this week we're taking a look at an article by Talent International where they're discussing a recent LinkedIn report. The LinkedIn report revealed that with rapid advancements in AI, the skills needed for global jobs are projected to change by 51% by 2030, and that's a stat since 2016. The rise of generative AI is expected to accelerate this change to 68%, which is wild. Less than half of UK businesses are actively helping employees become AI literate. 65% of UK professionals believe AI will boost their career progression. 44% are helping their workforce become AI literate, and 9 out of 10 UK organisations are concerned about employee retention. Employees can now receive alerts about new internal roles and express their interest through AI, and that is it for the stat of the week. Let's take a look at some hot jobs in the UK. We have a senior external auditor. This role is in South East London and paying £35,000 to £45,000. Your responsibilities will include planning, managing and executing audit engagements with a focus on quality and timely delivery, overseeing the preparation and management of accounts and maintaining strong client relationships. We really need someone who is degree qualified in accounting, finance or a related field. ACA or ACCA part qualified or qualified. This role is being looked after by Anthony Ross, and you can contact him by emailing or calling. The details on the screen now. The next role we have, also South East London. We are looking for a HR and office manager. This role is paying £46,000 to £60,000. And the responsibilities include managing the end-to-end recruitment process, including job postings, screening candidates, conducting interviews and making hiring recommendations. Requirements for this role: you must be CIPD level 5 qualification or equivalent in human resources, and a proven track record and experience in a similar HR role. This role is being looked after by Hannah Scanlon, and you can contact Hannah by reaching her on her email or phone, which appear on the screen now. Okay, let's cross the border now, cross the divide, cross to the other side of the world in Wellington, New Zealand. We are looking for a logistics coordinator. I'm not sure what the salary is here, but the responsibilities will include managing various administrative tasks such as creating schedules, processing timesheets and expenses, organising computer shipping schedules and liaising with administrators over the phone. We really want someone who has experience working with schedules and a background in events. This is being looked after by Chitra Gulati, and you can contact Chitra on the email or phone number on the screen now.
Are you an experienced HR professional who is seeking a role where you can make a positive impact to a team that provides the support to the community? Hi, I'm Leanne Lazarus from the P2P Brisbane team, and I'm excited to be working with an organisation that is creating a stir in the niche industry sector by providing innovative and progressive support, treatments and environments for their community every day. This exciting opportunity has come about due to growth and change within the organisation, and this HR generalist role will see you support the full employee lifecycle of a team, but also have the opportunity to build new initiatives, programs, policies, procedures, and more with the support of the ELT. This role requires an individual who has a tertiary HR qualification coupled with relevant HR generalist experience, have a thorough understanding of legislation and awards with proven IR experience supporting line managers with investigations and case management. If you've had experience with implementation of an HRIS system, this would be highly advantageous too. Taking on this role, you will report directly to the COO and work closely with an established leadership team. It will give you the opportunity to be part of a positive change process as you identify new initiatives, programs focused on engagement, retention and culture, streamline and improve processes, procedures and policies, engage and provide support to all levels within the organisation, and have the opportunity to see the scope of your work impact from start to finish. This opportunity will not only tick the professional career box, but also the personal sense of satisfaction, as you know every interaction, action and initiative has a direct impact on the community the team supports. If you are ready to take on a role and make it your own in an environment that genuinely values and supports their employees, please head to the P2P website and apply today. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to your application.
Well, I'm delighted now to be joined, as I said, by Kirsten Garrett, who you can see on the screen there, who is a long-standing female leader at People2People. So thanks for joining us, Kirsten. Great to have you on P2P Live.
Thank you very much. Good to be here. Pleasure.
The theme of this year's International Women's Day is really about inspiring inclusion, so celebrating and promoting that kind of empowerment. So I'm really interested, I guess, to hear sort of some of your experience in terms of that in the workplace and how you might have seen things change around embracing inclusion and equity over the time that you've been in the professional workforce.
Well, thank you, Catherine. Pleasure to be here. I guess first and foremost, the biggest change or progression that I've seen, and I've been in this recruitment industry now for well over 25, in fact, closer to the next decade there, is the fact that equity and inclusion is actually being discussed. It's a topic at the table, and I think this is the first and a very positive move forward. I'd also like to acknowledge that in the biggest change I've seen, or one of the biggest changes I've seen, is bias is not as blatant as it was once upon a time. 10 years ago. It is, however, definitely present, but it is more of an unconscious bias. And I kind of think that makes it harder to address and to call out behaviours related to unconscious bias, and that's where education programs really play into it. I am going to wave the P2P flag just ever so quickly because I did a rough calculation. And here at People2People, I think we're a great example of breaking down the barriers in gender bias. We offer strong training and mentoring programs available to all without exclusion. And we now have approximately 75% of our leadership or management roles across our entire business held by women. And I think that's a great reflection. It's a great platform to go out to the market, particularly because we are in recruitment. That aside, some of the areas that I've seen really develop as uncomfortable, I should say, as they might be to talk about, is women's health. Sometimes a little bit of an icky subject that we are starting to see topics that would never have been discussed in a corporate boardroom being raised around menstrual leave, menopausal leave. And in fact, tomorrow, the Minister for Women is going to release Australia's first ever strategy for gender equality, covering 5 areas of priority, but one of them is women's health. And I think that's a big step forward. Paternity versus maternity leave programs, allowing the other partner, not just the childbearing mother, to have leave to support on the home front, another big step forward. And the impact of that is that if women want to, they may be able to return to the workforce earlier than in previous years. And therefore the impact on their career and the ability to earn higher salaries is greater. And I think that's a step forward. So I guess the last thing I'll say on progression is that I'm constantly excited about the number of roles in large corporates, admittedly, and that's the first step, that are devoted to diversity, equity and inclusion. 2, 3, 5 years ago, that phrase, diversity, equity, inclusion, wasn't even on anyone's radar. And now you have directors of, managers of, and I think that's a really step forward. So these are visible progressions on a continuous journey of equity and inclusion in the workplace.
Yeah, indeed. I think one of the comments I was just as you were speaking then that I thought is of, I know a lot of particularly big corporates who have those resources, they're implementing things around that unconscious bias, particularly in that selection process as well, around sort of AI. And so there's almost a role that technology is starting to play in that as well, which is interesting. So what do you, and, I think we were chatting briefly before, and there could be a list as, almost an infinite list of things that we could talk about, and we have finite time, obviously. But what do you think are some of the ways that individuals and or organisations can inspire inclusion? So really so that the needs and interests and aspirations of this diverse group of women and diverse group of people can be really sponsored and supported.
As you say, there is so many areas that we could address as individuals, as employees, as well as people who are part of the management team. But for me, first and foremost, inspiring inclusion starts with celebrating how far we've come already, recognising perspective and contributions of all. And I believe it's about creating a mood and an environment within the workplace where everyone has a voice. Education, mentorships and awareness programs will create opportunities for women to thrive and develop. And with gender pay gaps being on the radar at the moment, we all know large organisations of 100 plus people have to account for their pay gaps and have to report on these every year. But I'd like to see some analyses recognising and reporting of these pay gaps at team level, business level, for all sizes of companies. Obviously, the data stays in-house, but it will raise an awareness out there. I think addressing any imbalance is about thinking differently and leading by example. And I think that's the broad stroke approach to improving and making progression. And my final comment, because we are conscious of time, is for me personally, it is about supporting women, but it's not to the detriment of men, because a lot of the women who are in the positions they're in today, myself included, their personal and career mentors are men. And I think that is something that we need to acknowledge, but the imbalance of women in leadership roles does need to be addressed.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, there's some great points there. Sorry?
Very sobering comment there at the end.
Oh, well, no, indeed. But as you say, I think a big part of it is also having that celebration of how far we have come. So I think, of course, there's always more that can be done, but I think we're both mothers of daughters who will come through in this next generation. And I just think that their early experience going into the workforce is going to be so different to what mine was and so different to what yours was as well. So
Absolutely.
I think we're definitely heading in the right direction, but still, we need to keep it on the radar. Thank you for joining us, Kirsten. Appreciate your time and your insights as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine and Kirsten. I think we really do need to celebrate how far we have come. So a big shout out to all the women on International Women's Day and to those who have paved the way before us and those who support us. It is time to take a look at the social media poll results. So last week we had, to what extent do you feel your workplace is committed to diversity and inclusion? Sorry, this is for next week. Very committed, somewhat committed, and not committed at all. I don't think we've had a look at last week just yet. So if we have that on the screen. Last week we did have, would you be willing to accept a salary reduction in exchange for the opportunity to work remotely more often? And no, surprisingly, it's 66.1%. So if you would like to get involved in next week's poll, please do. That is it for P2P Live this week, and I look forward to seeing you next week at 12:30 Friday.